Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey, and today we're talking Week 4 rankings. How we like to do the rankings is we're kind of like building our ranks as we do the show here. We're taking listener questions that were posted on Instagram and just kind of, you know, doing some player versus player, figuring out how we actually feel about the players as we talk it out. I almost feel it's a better way sometimes to rank, because I've noticed this myself. I used to sometimes would just throw the players on the list and think, okay, this looks good, but then I really think about it. You think about a player versus another player, and you know, that's not how I would do it. So we'll do that. Things are changing already. There's people moving around up and down. I already saw some craziness with the consensus ranks, which I don't think you're going to agree with. Well, I'll talk about that in a minute. But before we do that, make sure you go check us out on Twitter at the FF Prophet. You can follow us on Instagram at Fantasy Football Prophet. We'll post, I think every Tuesday, we'll make a mailbag post, which is going to be, you can post start-sit questions, which we'll use for the ranking show, and you can just post trade questions, flex questions, stuff like that. We'll use that for the Thursday mailbag show. And to check that out probably Tuesday afternoon, we'll have that posted. And you can also go to the website, fantasyfootballprophet.com, and YouTube as well, youtube.com/fantasyfootballprophet. So, like I say, the rank I wanted to say something quick about here, Jeff, which I get it. It's a matchup thing, but still, no. Just no. Austin Eckler was ranked 3rd for this coming week, and Alvin Kamara's 4th, Dalvin Cook's 5th, in consensus. Does that make any sense in the world to you? I get the rank.
Yeah,
but
I get it, right? He is going to play Miami.
But
you're expecting big numbers. I actually think this helps out Justin Jackson more than it helps out Eckler. And I'm, once again, reading a lot into it, but you have to believe that the Chargers are going to get up quick, and this would be the perfect game in order to, you know, keep Jackson involved and give him some more carries when Eckler can take a little bit of a breather. We saw it last week, right? Was it Dallas? So Zeke, Pollard had all those carries. Yep. He had a big day as well. So maybe lightning won't strike twice as far as the backup actually getting the lion's share of the carries. I think it's just a little too high. And we've seen this many of times. You're always going to play anyone against Miami, but I feel like they get ahead so much that they ended up almost reducing their workload by the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and that's the worry there. I will put him up in the ranks. I'll put Eckler up in the ranks. He'll be top 10 for me. I'm just trying to figure out exactly how I want to slot him in, because as deep as I thought running back was going to be, it's okay, but it falls off quick. The top guys are going to be what? Zeke's going to be a top guy every week. McCaffrey's going to be a top guy every week. Kamara's going to be a top guy every week. But now we got Saquon gone. Dalvin Cook, I think, is now just replaced Saquon. I think he's one of those guys right now.
I do too. And okay, after looking at this as well, I forgot Dalvin was going against Chicago.
That's tough. I get it. I'm still playing. I'm going to play him. I know. Okay. I just
because Kamara. Yeah, absolutely. I'm putting him in front of Austin Eckler, but Dalvin Cook going against Chicago. I understand why people are making that that argument.
I kind of get it. I understand it. I still can't do it. If you're sitting there with that decision, could you really not? I mean, it's hard to say what situation will you ever not play both of them. I get it.
Right.
But let's just say you had, for some reason, that you drafted, McCaffrey first, and then you locked in Dalvin Cook fell. It could have happened, and you got him in the second, and then you have Eckler. It could have. That's a possibility.
That's very possible.
And I have to play Cook. I'd have to do it. There's no way I could not. I could not live with I would, if he gets outscored, great. I don't care. I still think it was the move to make. I'm not playing around with that. So yeah, I know some people play matchups a lot more than I do. And sometimes it bites me. It does. It's happened where I just start the studs and then the guy who had the better matchup did work out better, but I don't think there's anything close with those players right now. So, and I don't know, Chicago's great and all, but I think the way Minnesota's been running the ball, they can do it. So, yeah, all right. I just found that interesting. Austin Eckler way up there in the ranks. Just that's what I guess what happens when you play Miami. It just becomes easy for you. So let's get to some questions here. We got Noah. He has a wide receiver question. Who are you starting? Mecole Hardman, Marquise Goodwin, or Stephon Diggs? So this used to be an easy answer. Diggs hasn't shown much. I don't even think it's Diggs. It's not like Diggs himself. It's just the way that offense has been playing. They don't need to they don't need to pass the ball. They've been running the ball great, and it just plays out where Diggs has had 2 games in a row where he hasn't done much. So he is definitely dropping down the ranks here. And as we said, they play Chicago. So Chicago's obviously been tough, and it's not Goodwin though, right? Goodwin's not the one. You don't even think of playing him. But Hardman is the big play guy. I mean, Hardman or Diggs? Hardman actually probably has a good shot to catch a touchdown.
Yeah, I would actually go Hardman.
You would?
Yeah, I would. I know that sounds crazy, but
against Detroit?
Yeah, I think it's more likely he has one big play than Diggs puts together, 5 catches and gets in the end zone possibly. Until I see something from him, I'm not going to believe that they're all of a sudden going to come all together against a very good defense. So I would go Hardman, especially obviously he's still going to have a big role. Tyreek is not back. I don't know how many targets he's actually going to get, but if he gets 5, I like him to absolutely dominate what Diggs is able to do.
Again, this is my more, I guess I go conservative with this stuff. I can't do it. I can't do it yet because it's because of Hardman's volume. It's not much. It's just that big play. I know the chances that he gets one are probably better than a lot of these big play guys, but I have the hardest time in the world making that decision here. And if anybody's listened to this show for very long, they do realize I've been a big Diggs fan, and I don't think he doesn't look bad. That's not the thing. It's just hasn't played out maybe like they've wanted to. I'm still going to do it. I'm going to play Diggs. I know. It's just
I have a hard time. And this is why I would have to bring up Hardman's numbers, but Diggs isn't getting any sort of...
It's not there. I know.
I mean, he had 2 receptions, 1 reception, 3 against Oakland.
I got one
only
more
for 15.
I know. I'm buying it. I'm not buying in. I'm giving it one more week.
I gotcha.
I guess. One more that it just nothing happens, and I guess maybe then I can say... Yeah, it's something's wrong there, and maybe no. It's really what's wrong is they just want to run the ball, and they've done it really well. So why screw it up? I guess there's no need to screw something up that's working. And okay, here's the interesting thing before I get back to questions. Consensus ranks has Sammy Watkins, Chris Godwin, and Brandon Cooks ahead of Michael Thomas this week.
That's a rough one. I understand I won't even call it panic, but just, the downplaying of Michael Thomas. You're going against Dallas. He still did okay last week. I mean, he got in the end zone. It's very obvious they're going to try to get him the ball however they can. But I'm not going to rally against these people, honestly. I think that there's a legitimate reason why they're doing it.
These ranks will change quick.
I would have a very difficult time doing it personally, but I think that would be, how you play Diggs instead of Hardman. I feel like not playing Michael Thomas is that on steroids a little bit.
And this will change. This is really early in the week yet. Ranks are changing, those consensus-wise, but you're starting to see the movement in coming off of what you thought in the preseason. People are abandoning that kind of thoughts. This is kind of probably it for me. I might soon. Some players I have, and just not everything so far. But so this right here, this isn't a necessarily a rank question, but sort of, I guess, in a way. Is Rashad Penny going to take Chris Carson's job? So let's see here. How would you want to rank? Because Chris Carson, playing against Arizona, if you thought he was going to get majority of the work, he should be ranked up there. And in the consensus ranks, he was, I believe, top 10. I can't. But would you put Chris Carson over Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Todd Gurley, Marlon Mack, Aaron Jones, those kind of guys? where would you put him? I think I have to drop him below those guys. The fumbles worry me. As much as Pete Carroll's going to talk about he's still their guy, they want him to succeed. And of course, they want him to succeed. But if he keeps putting the ball on the ground, I mean, you can't use him. And Penny's not bad. So I guess I will buy into the Pete Carroll talk this week and say they give him another shot. And I'll keep him up there, but I'm going to be hesitant and not put him all the way up into the top. Probably going to, I don't know, he's going to be around 15 for me, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And it's not so much that I think Penny is going to overtake him. He might actually grab a few carries away from him in situations where you really can't turn the ball over, just to hedge your bets. The thing about that is Chris Carson, he's still going to have he's still going to have his job intact. But you're right in thinking if the worst happens and he fumbles it one more time, then yeah, all of a sudden it changes. So it would change during the course of the game, and I can't plan for a fumble, or I'm not going to at least.
Yeah, that's pretty much, it could happen. It very well could happen, and then all of a sudden you're kind of screwed. So here's another one. PPR, Tyler Boyd or Larry Fitzgerald? Larry Fitzgerald, somehow he's I don't know. I thought he was done. How many times? I think I've said he's done probably, I don't know, 4 of the last 5 years, maybe, something like that.
His age is getting up there. I do have to say, though, I warned about this, saying that he might not be done because last year was the only cliff he fell off of.
Yeah.
And it was an all-time historic low for Arizona passing-wise. They just didn't have what it took to do that. And even though they haven't won, their games and, Kyler Murray is still trying to figure out how to be a good pro quarterback. He's been able to put up a lot of yards, but not the touchdowns yet. Fitzgerald is an excellent wide receiver. He may not be able to burn you deep, but he's still very tall, and we always talked about it a lot more last year, how he's almost in a glorified tight end. It's kind of the perfect guy for Kyler to throw to. So I like him a lot, but I will not be ranking him ahead of Tyler Boyd yet.
No. Can't. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go Boyd. And they're actually close, though. I think, let me see. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to play this. And as we're talking, I'm putting them like almost right next to each other. Boyd is currently 19th for me. Fitzgerald's going to be like 21st, 22nd, somewhere in there. So they're close. So here's another wide receiver PPR question. This one I think is fairly easy. From Jeremiah. Chris Godwin or Christian Kirk? Go Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
It was a down week, sure. It went all to Evans, and that was a lot of the balls went to Evans. That's not going to happen every week. Believe me, I've owned Mike Evans every single year he's been in the league, in one of our leagues. It doesn't happen all the time. This is what he teases you with. Mike Evans teases you and says, well, how you're one of the best wide receivers we've ever seen. And then he'll go do nothing next week, and it'll be a Chris Godwin game. So Chris Godwin's going to be fine. He's going to be in my top 15 wide receivers again. Yeah, I'm not too worried about him. All right, here's a defense question. Kansas City defense against the Lions, or are you going Chargers against Miami?
Chargers, yeah. That's how bad Miami is.
It's, yeah, you just play them. You play whoever they're playing. It doesn't matter. You play that defense. George Kittle or Darren Waller? It's actually kind of interesting, though. I know it's easy to say Kittle. I get it.
I'm going to say Kittle, but it's not as easy as it once was.
No, the problem is Kittle doesn't play this week. So sorry, who asked me that question? Jay Toto. So you play Waller this week. Okay, but that's a good question going forward. You have both of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, even if Waller has his
blows
matchup
up this
now,
week again,
Indianapolis, I'm still going.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm still going Kittle for at least a few more weeks in order to really give him a shot at it. Darren Waller has been good, but he's really only had one amazing game so far, and that was last week against Minnesota. You're riding that into Indianapolis. I get it. But yeah.
Here's an interesting one. Robert Woods or Demarcus Robinson?
Ooh.
I'll just say I'm going to go Robert Woods yet. I mean, you probably can tell, being a little conservative right now, I still am. Demarcus Robinson is very interesting, though. Robert Woods plays against Tampa. Tampa, I don't think is going to stop him either. Should be. We'll see where Robert Woods' consensus ranks right now. I'm curious about this. So consensus ranks Robert Woods puts himself. He's 18th. Still, people are still putting him up there.
He's still up there. Okay. I think I'm with you. I think I would still play Robert Woods, but this would be kind of like the last week. I've seen enough. Right. You just don't know how many catches. It's kind of like the Mcclure Hardman thing. You don't know how many catches they're really going to get. But we've already seen Robert Woods get 8 catches in week 1. They passed the ball quite a bit. You're going against Tampa Bay, which is a favorable matchup. So I'm going to go Woods, even though we could get burned because obviously he has the chance of just going off anytime he catches the ball. And Demarcus Robinson has been looking very good. He has been looking like a starting wide receiver. The catches he has been making. This is going to be very interesting when Tyreek comes back. And if all of them are healthy, because I don't know who deserves to play and who does not at this point.
Yeah, it's hard to say right now. Let's see here. Wayne Gallman or Damian Williams if he's playing. It's interesting. Damian Williams hasn't done much, and he would be coming back from an injury if he plays. Wayne Gallman, I mean, he's going to be the back. I'm not. Wayne Gallman is. He's boring to me.
Are they saying Damian Williams will be like he's healthy, so he will get first crack?
Let's say he's healthy. He's in the lineup.
They say he's the starter.
Well, I mean, who knows who the starter is there?
Well, he'll be one of the top 2 to get carries.
Sure, but McCoy's injured too. We don't know his status.
So if they say Damian Williams plays, yeah. I put him in. I do not believe in Wayne Gallman one bit, even if he gets all of that.
I don't believe in Wayne Gallman either. Man, this is tough.
I know. It's scary because there's so many
Kansas
players.
City has so many variables here. There's not just the fact that Damian Williams is hurt, but it's like if he's hurt, but if he comes back, how is he going to split with McCoy? But McCoy's kind of hurt too.
Right.
So how's that going to work? Then you got Darrell Williams behind him who looks like he can play a little bit. Then there's Darwin Thompson who we don't know if he can play at all. And who would it shock you if all of a sudden one week they just decided to throw Darwin Thompson out there and the guy actually could play? I mean, it could happen. So I don't know what my answer is yet. I'm just filibustering. I'm not sure. I would probably say I'd like to play Damian Williams if I knew I had a healthy... Okay, if Damian Williams plays and McCoy doesn't, it's a no-brainer, 100%. I probably lean Damian Williams if he plays no matter what, but it's close. Yeah. Just because Wayne Gallman's volume, but I just don't like Wayne Gallman, the player.
No.
And that's where my hesitation is. I don't like that player. And that's where I'm having a hard time in our league we're in with waivers is I'm a running back needy team and I just don't know what to do. Do you actually go after Wayne Gallman? I don't know. By the time I know if he's any good or not, or if he's better, it'll be too late. Anyway, you have to do it now if you're gonna get him. So let's see here. Darren Waller or Mark Andrews?
Well, you have Mark Andrews. Are you sticking with your man? So you're going against Cleveland, or Mark Andrews is going against Cleveland.
Yeah.
And then Waller is going against Indianapolis. So
they're very close.
Yeah, they're both pretty decent matchups, right? Mark Andrews has shown that he can put up really big numbers. The first 2 weeks against Miami and Arizona, huge. Over 100 yards and a touchdown each one. Against KC, 3 catches for 15 yards. A very big difference. Do they get him back on track? And then just to show the difference, Waller, pretty consistent. 7 for 70, 6 for 63 against Denver and KC. And then at Minnesota last week, blew up 13 for 134. Has not gotten a touchdown yet.
I'm going to go Andrews.
I would too. I'm very, very impressed with Darren
offense.
Waller. And it feels like I'm kind of just going against him.
I like the offense better. I'm going to go with when it's close, I'm going to go with who I think has the better offense. That's pretty much all it is. Yeah, that's all. TJ Hawkinson or Jason Witten?
I gotta go Witten.
Okay, that's where it's really like if you want the safety of a guy who's going to get a few catches and some yards. That's where you go. If you think Hockenson can become, he is what he is. He can be what he was week 1. Go Hockenson. I'm going to go Hockenson.
Okay,
but it's not. That's the risky play. That's the very risky play because what is he?
Well, we have no idea. I guess in my mind, I would rather get the guaranteed 6 points than Hockenson, who is
a lot of it depends
from 19 to less than 1 point in the next 2.
A lot of it depends on your team. If you have a very solid team at running back and wide receiver, and you just need just points, just a little bit of points, you can go safe. But if you have a team that's maybe not as strong elsewhere, you need the tight end points. Let's say Hockenson has the much bigger. It's
very true.
Ceiling.
They are going against KC, and they just shut out Mark Andrews, who we like so much. I haven't seen enough out of Hockenson. I'm very excited about the guy, but it is, I think, very obvious that he is going to have a very, very up and down year.
Right.
And I don't know if I have the stomach for it this early in the year when Witten has been more than serviceable.
All right, rank these receivers: Terry McLaurin, Tyrell Williams, Josh Gordon.
Never in my life would I think that this question would come up and I wouldn't put Josh Gordon number 1. But I don't think I'm gonna. I think from what I've seen of him, obviously he is a beast, and he dropped a touchdown, which would have made his week look a lot better. So maybe I'm kind of going over and beyond. But Terry McLaurin has been an absolute tear. He has looked so good. I mean, yeah, and he's going against the New York Giants, which is an awesome matchup for him. I'm going to go McLaurin number 1. Then I would go Josh Gordon, and then I would go, obviously, the Oakland number 1 wide receiver. I'm not giving him a whole lot of love at the moment, but he has been pretty good too. You have a very good trio to pick from if those are your 3 guys.
I'm going to go the same order. I really like Terry McLaurin. I mean, I'm seeing a lot from. He's a rookie who's already playing well, and that usually translates pretty well. A rookie receiver, and he gets better, so I like it. So that's it for the questions we have. I was just going to go look at. We didn't talk about quarterbacks really at all, so I'm going to jump over to quarterbacks quick and just see if there's any surprises we can see this week. And I don't think so. You got Tom Brady's going to drop down for me finally this week. He's had a couple weeks back up in the top 10, but playing at Buffalo, I can just see that not being his game. Buffalo's a lot better. So he's going to probably drop out of the top 10 for me this week. Probably not too far out of the top 10, but 11th, 12th, something like that. So that's the interesting one. Tom Brady or Josh Allen in that matchup. Would you go with Josh Allen there, or would you just stick with Tom Brady?
No, you know that I'm going to go Tom Brady.
Okay. Josh Allen's been interesting. He's just a very interesting start.
He is, but New England's defense has been playing very, very well. I mean, you have to remember he has to go against them as well. I can never pull the trigger on Josh Allen, especially on a very good defense who they can scheme for him. I highly doubt they're going to let him pick him apart.
So, never thought this would be a question. Who are you going to start? Daniel Jones or Baker Mayfield?
It's a real question. It really is.
Or Baker Mayfield at Baltimore.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones playing at home against the Redskins.
I don't know if I have the guts to completely go Daniel Jones.
I think I would. Baker Mayfield is disappointing me that much, where I think I'm going to be benching him until I see something different. He just hasn't. It hasn't looked good. It just hasn't looked good. It could change. It could turn around real quick. It definitely could. But as of right now, it just hasn't looked good. And he looks like he's constantly running for his life out there, trying to make a pass on the run, which he just hasn't done very well right now. Daniel Jones looked pretty decent, and he might run for a couple yards. And I'm gonna go Daniel Jones. As crazy as that seems.
It would be very close for me, but I do agree with you. I think it would be extremely close, and I'm very, very afraid of that second game letdown because Daniel Jones did everything correct, and Washington just got embarrassed. I feel like this is just setting him up for a very big letdown. If it wasn't Baltimore, I would go Mayfield, but Baltimore scares the crap out of me. I really do think that they're a very good D as well. It's just not the defense to get your mojo back on. So yeah, I would go Daniel Jones, and in the worst case scenario is maybe they get down early to Washington, and then he has to keep throwing the ball. But he showed that he can rush it a little bit. So I'm banking on that. I just want one cheap touchdown, and then I feel pretty good about it.
How about Jacoby Perset or Baker Mayfield?
I actually like Perset.
And he plays against Oakland at home. Mm-hmm. It's a better matchup.
Yeah, and he's shown. He's proved it.
He honestly said three. He's had 3 really good games. Yeah. He's been better than Baker for 3 games. I think I start Perset.
I do. Yeah.
It's weird how that has changed, but I mean Baker has to show me something. There's a lot of players I'd play over him right now, almost that I was not expecting to do, but that's I'm kind of there. And then all right, yeah, that's it. Do you have anything else here?
Yeah. What? I have to ask about the other struggling quarterbacks because Mayfield kind of an easy target at the moment. He has been very, very much in the lower tier. What about Aaron Rodgers? Where are you thinking about him? Philly is no slouch. He has not been putting up Aaron Rodgers type numbers. Who is someone that you would actually play over him?
There's not a lot. It's not a lot of other guys have really stepped up enough yet to jump him. And the players, let's see, I'm going to put him 7th. I would play Jared Goff over him because I like Jared Goff playing against Tampa better. Goff has struggled too, but I like the matchup slightly more. The other guys, I think this is how I'll rank them is going to be Mahomes. This is pretty much going to be similar for a while here. Mahomes is my 1. Watson's my 2. I put Russell Wilson 3. Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, then Aaron Rodgers. So we still had a Matt Ryan. I'm just not the big Matt Ryan guy either. So
how close is Phillip Rivers with the matchup against Miami?
Rivers is 9.
Okay.
He is going to be 9th this week because, that Miami matchup's great. But again, how does that play out? Does he only play 3 quarters? We just don't know how. Are they able to just run the ball? But the matchup puts him 9th for me. And then the other ones, the rest of the guys. Wentz doesn't have a good matchup at Green Bay. Green Bay's defense has been a lot better. That's a tough one. Stafford is down there too, playing against Kansas City. Who knows? Jameis he can't trust. Then you got like the young guys, Daniel Jones, Josh Allen, Tom Brady doesn't have a good matchup. Kyler Murray's actually up here again, just because he throws together numbers, even if he's not very good sometimes. I mean, he's not saying he's good. He might have bad games that he still has fantasy numbers. So Rodgers is 7th, and it's really just because I would have ranked him lower if there was just better matchups below him and other guys to raise above him. It's just not happening this week. So he's still there, but can't say I'm not worried that it's not going to return for. I don't know if he's not that sure thing anymore, which is crazy to say that he's not, and it's a Thursday night game. Those aren't always the greatest. So, all right. I think that's all I got for ranks this week. We'll be back tomorrow with your mailbag questions plus our point spread picks for week 4. Again, we'll talk another mediocre week for the picks for us. So we've been doing okay, I'll say. We're keeping it around 500. But that'll do it for today. Talk to you guys tomorrow.